Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Donald. One more minute and then we'll get started. Well, good evening, everyone. It is 6:30. We want to start on time to make sure that we give you back your evening. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a wonderful 2025 and are looking forward to a wonderful 2026. Is there anyone on the call who want to start us off with prayer? Well, I will. With that, Heavenly Father, thank you once again for bringing us together for the good of Sandtown. Bless those who have joined us. Bless those who are traveling and who will join us later on the call. Help us to make the best decisions that we can regarding our community, in terms of safety, in terms of expansion, in terms of our schools. Um, it's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. Well, do we have anybody representing fire and police on the call?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I am Officer Garvin with the Community Policing Unit. And we also have Officer Baker on the line with us from police.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you guys are up. If you all want to give us any updates with the police.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for having us. Let me start off by saying that our goal is to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community with one encounter at a time. And let me share with you some of the things that we're actually doing in the community to combat crime. We're doing proactive patrolling. So sometimes you guys may see us with our stationary blue lights on, whether it be in one of our 18 parks within the city of South Fulton. You may see us in a neighborhood, maybe parked on the side of the road, retail shopping center, things of that nature. And the reason that we do that is to combat crime and be a crime deterrent. Some of the other things that we're doing to combat crime in a creative way, we have our real time crime center that's located at Hartsfield. And what the real time crime center does is actually help law enforcement to capture the crime in real time. And what does that mean for the community? Basically, we're able to get a law enforcement officer to the site where the crime is taken a lot sooner. We're able to identify whatever the perpetrator was wearing, whatever type of vehicle that they were driving. So that's kind of giving you a visual of what our real-time crime center does. We also have another creative way where Shot Spotter. And what that basically does, if someone fires shots within the city of South Fulton, with having the shot spider, it gives us the location, the address location of where those shots came from, which means we can dispatch an officer a lot sooner to that location versus if we didn't have the tool called the shot spotter. We also have license plates, readers, and things of that nature. We have drones to fight crime. So those are just some of the creative ways that the city of South Fulton is doing to combat crime. And it appears that in District 1, the crime is down in 2026. What I did notice is that we did have some larceny, several larceny from vehicles. And it's real simple. How does the community of Sandtown actually prevent being victimized? Um, If you have a driveway, park in the driveway. Leave your doors locked. Don't leave anything visible that someone can pass by and see. Keep your home well lit, front and back. Of course, don't open doors for strangers. Get to know your neighbors. Um, Another example I can provide is that if you purchase a large flat screen television, we'll say an 80, 85 inch, instead of putting that 85-inch box to the front of your driveway, how about we break that box down and actually pack it in the trash compactor? So, anytime you're getting anything valuable and it's in large boxes, we would suggest that you break it down and actually put it in the trash compactor. We would also recommend that you guys get your alarm systems registered with the city of South Fulton. And we also have a saying, if you see something, say something. You can always remain anonymous when you call 911. So help us help you by being the eyes that we can't see when we're not there. So don't hesitate to call 911. Help us help you to create a better quality of life for the city of South Fulton. Does anyone have any questions in regards to anything that I've mentioned
I
from
do.
myself or Officer Baker? Okay,
I
go ahead.
do. Hi,
Yes, ma'am.
my name is Delphine. I'm with in District 1 at the Sandtown Center subdivision. So I have
Mm-hmm.
two questions. The first is the shot spotter. Like, what's the range that you can, detect, shots been fired for you to know exactly where they came from?
I'm not sure. I don't have the specifics of the range, but what I can
Okay.
tell you that Shot Spotter is definitely a valuable tool
Mm-hmm.
for the residents of in the city of South Fulton. So when shots are fired, our officers get an alert with an address and we're able to dispatch officers just like that. So I don't have the metrics with the range, but what I can tell you is that Shot Spotter is very, very effective.
Hmm. Yeah, because the only reason I asked is, after what was it, New Year's, there
Mm-hmm.
were, someone, shooting guns,
Mm-hmm.
and there were, I think, bullets like, on the sidewalk
Mm-hmm.
of our subdivision. But
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering if, you all like spotted anything, I guess, during like maybe the New Year's, or when it's a holiday, you don't really look at that. I don't know.
No, let me explain to you real briefly how it happens. If someone fires shots, Shot Spotter captures the address. We're alerted with that address information, and we dispatch officers out at that time. When officers do go out to shots fired, they get out. Um, Take an assessment of the perimeter to see if there's any shell casing, any damage to property, and we document that. And if it is, then we'll take the necessary steps. We collect the shell casings, and we actually store that and do further investigation.
Okay. I would like to learn more about that, but I can reach out for that one. My second question
Okay.
is I am the liaison over our subdivision
Mm-hmm.
and over Neighborhood Watch. And so we received a report today that there's something new going on in our community or district where
Mm-hmm.
where there's tow trucks pulling at 3 o'clock in the morning and pulling out vehicles out of the driveway. Like, I know, repo does that, but I think in this case, I think there's something new with stealing cars. Have you heard anything like that?
I haven't heard anything like that. Is
Hmm.
that something that you witness in the
One of our
neighborhood?
neighbors. Yes, one of our neighbors. And I
Okay.
actually have a video. I don't know if I can share that, but
Um, is this like an ongoing issue or was it an isolated incident? Did it happen more than one time or did it
I-
just happen one time?
I'm hearing that it's happened more than one time in our community. But if you can maybe drop your email or something where I can get in contact with you, is that
Absolutely.
okay? Okay.
Absolutely. I'll actually do that. Then I'll drop my city cell number
Okay.
in the chat and then you can contact me and we can follow up.
Perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Also, this is Donald Barnes. I'm with Sandtown Center
Mm-hmm.
Communities as well. In,
Okay.
in the past, I don't have a question. I just want to extend an opportunity. In the past, we have made it available for the force to use our clubhouse and our office in the clubhouse in case if they need to spot up and do paperwork or use the restroom or take a lunch break and heat their food up or something. We have
Mm-hmm.
a keypad on the door that Captain Tukes had the combination for officers to use to get access into the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's still available. So,
Hmm.
and that would also further assist in some minute things that we deal with in our community, such as people driving the wrong way. If they see the car there, they won't do it or won't speed around in the
Mm-hmm.
community. Or we do have some shots fired very frequently around here. So I just want to extend that opportunity again. I don't know if you know about it. I don't know. I think Captain Toots is retired now, but
Mhm.
it, it's available if you guys um, want to
Well,
continue to use our facilities.
well, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that.
Worries, no worries, and I can be reached through Delphine as well. We're both on the community board together.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that a great deal.
Okay. Thanks for your work.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions?
Good evening. This is Anon Francis. I reside on New Hope Road, and I've observed over the last several months, and particularly over the last few weeks, that there are violators that do not respect the stop signs at Bruce Place and New Hope Road.
Mm-hmm.
Drivers in both heading both east and west or north and south on New Hope would get to the intersection of Bruce and New Hope heading south, would barely pause and then turn right onto Bruce Place, a right turn.
Mm-hmm.
Drivers heading straight on New Hope Road, they would just get there and frequently on Bruce Place, but I would observe they'd pause barely and then just keep moving. I think if we have a police officer making observations there, particularly in the mornings, I've seen this occur significantly 7, 8, 9 in the morning. I think
Mm-hmm.
that they would find violators and hopefully send a strong message.
Mm-hmm. Well, we definitely can get extra check-in patrol, but I also would suggest getting to know your neighbors and maybe actually sending some type of correspondence to the neighborhood, to your neighbors in regards to slowing down and adhering um, to the traffic signs, things of that nature, in order to keep your neighborhood safe.
Well, I would add that I think these are just pass-through drivers.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think our neighbors would be, and they could be, but my opinion is that the violators may merely be those who are going through our community and
Mm-hmm.
don't have the respect that our neighbors and residents would more likely have.
Yes, sir. Understood.
They don't want to defund Black America. They're actively doing
All righty. Any other questions?
President Trump. Deborah,
This is a comment, Garvin, this is Councilwoman Rao. Would it be possible to see if we could have some traffic enforcement in that area that Mr. Francis referenced over in Bruce Place?
I can bring that to our supervision in
Okay,
regards to that and maybe to see if we can actually do a traffic detail in that area. If you can actually give me the name of the street again, I'm taking
That's
notes on
you
it.
reference New Hope and Bruce Place, that area.
New Hope and Bruce Place.
Yeah.
Okay, on tomorrow I'll type up an email and bring it to my supervision's attention to see if they would be willing and if we can correlate a traffic detail. What hours in the morning is this taking place?
Mr. Francis?
Mr. Francis, is he still there?
He's there, but I think
I
he's on mute.
apologize. I was muted. I'm sorry. Are you able to
That's
hear
okay.
me?
Yes. What hours, Mr. Francis, what hours in the morning is
I would say between 7 and 9. I am out all hours of the day, but I have
between
observed
12 and
this
9? Okay.
occurring quite frequently between 7 and 9. Maybe people are late for work, and
Gotcha.
sometimes in the afternoons, 4, 5, 6 o'clock.
I got you. And here's the caveat to that. If they see us law enforcement presence, guess what they're going to do? Stop. They're going to stop. If they see us out there, the days that we are out there, they're going to abide by the stop signs and they're going to stop. So, but needless to say, I'll give this to my supervisor and see what we can come up with, and I will let you guys know.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
All right. Are there any other questions?
Let me
Go
let me give
ahead.
you guys can I give you guys my city's cell phone number if you have any concerns or things of that nature. You can feel free to shoot me a call. If I don't answer, give me a text and let me give you the number. Let me know when you're ready.
Certainly.
I'm
We're
ready.
ready.
Okay, the number is 470
Mhm.
294 9622.
And your officer.
Officer Garvin, Garvin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. Um,
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Who can
is
I actually can I get a contact number and email address? Once I contact my supervision, I will know who to reach out to.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, I'm
Can
prepared.
I
I'm
text
prepared
it?
to be a contact point regarding the traffic violations at that
Okay,
intersection. My
okay.
name's Anon, Anon
And
Francis.
okay. And what's your contact number, Mr. Francis?
770 seven
77.
seven one
Mhm.
4410.
Okay, I got it.
And
You'll be hearing
Delphine,
from me on tomorrow.
Thank you.
And someone else had you wanted to get the distance in regards to
it's
the shot
Delphine.
spotter, Miss
Yes,
Delphine.
yes, Delphine,
Okay,
Delphine.
okay,
And my phone number is 678 642
okay,
4830.
okay.
Okay,
On
thank
a
you.
distance. You're welcome.
well, thank you so much. Um,
Absolutely.
is there someone from the fire department among us? All righty. Then I think Ms. Warren just joined us from the schools, Fulton County Schools. Ms. Warren, you're up.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. Good to see you guys in the new year. This is our third day back at school. We have our next board meeting next Tuesday, our work session. And right now, what we're getting ready to do is centered around our budget. So at the end of December, we gave the schools what we call it's really like a blueprint on hiring, meaning that we tell them based on our calculations of how many students they're going to have, what their budget's going to be for the next year. And our principals start hiring positions that may be vacant or they anticipate needing for next year. And so, really, at the board, we are now getting ready since we've given the schools their budgets. We're now getting ready to start building the bigger budget. And what that means is that we are going through and we are doing zero-based budgeting. So every department in Fulton County will be coming to the board with what they want to do for next year, and we will build that out. We've asked each of our departments to do like a 7% cut, just to be mindful of taxpayers' money. And so right now, starting next week, that's what we will be focused on. This process ends in June. When we vote on a new millage, June, July, when we vote on a new millage rate. And so really right now we are trying to just get what does each department need, where are we going through, what is happening, and we go from there. And that will you'll start to see next month when I come to you, I'll start bringing you this is what this department needs. This is what this department is saying. We are also if you look over at Camp Creek Middle School, we are rebuilding it. So we have cleared all the land. And this semester, they will actually start getting ready to put some of the actual building of the new school. It is not anticipated to open until 2027, but this year in August, we are reopening the brand new S.L. Lewis Elementary School. So that is where we are for the board. In addition, we are at Westlake High School last night. We have a new football coach. He was introduced to the parents. It was a full house. And we are getting ready for what is going to come with that new program. But right now it's a little bit quiet, but it's only the third day of school. But right now we really are focused on next week what the incoming budgets for each department will mean. I came to you last month and I talked to you about some of the suggestions that people had about how to cut expense. But those are all suggestions. And so as we're going through the budget process, we'll say, for example, we might use 6 computer programs. We might say, hey, looking at these computer programs, how can we shorten them or what we already have to save money? So that is kind of where we're at for right there. So there's not a lot happening right now, but giving next week when we start to look at the actual board, we will go from there and do that. If anybody needs to reach out to me, you have a concern, something's happening, please feel free. I will put my email address in the chat. I was trying to think, Sandtown Middle School. I will bring this up. And I don't know if I talked about this last time, but at Sandtown, please talk to our children about making sure threats. We get a lot of kids who just make threats because they're just kids. They don't understand the implication. Once you make a threat and say, I think somebody has XYZ, a knife, a gun, whatever, the school that it said, they go into lockdown regardless. They go into lockdown, and in that lockdown, they investigate whether we think the claim is true or not. That is the process. So what we're finding is a lot of kids are making threats or saying things that aren't true. School goes into lockdown, and then the parents are spinning because they're like, oh my God, what's happening? And it's because we have gotten a tip. When I talk to parents are like, they didn't know what they were saying. They just were playing. But please, please, please talk to your children about what they put on social media and any type of threat that they do. And that's really all.
All righty. Are there any questions for Ms. Warren?
Yeah, Deborah, can you hear me? This is Ivory.
Yes, I can. Go right ahead.
Yes, thank you for your report, Ms. Warren. You always give a very good one.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions. Well, first of all, your last statement about these kids, our kids are a lot more sophisticated than I'm 82. So when I was growing up, I don't understand why we are not holding the children and the parents more responsible. I mean, as taxpayers, even if we don't have children in schools, we expect to support the school system. But whoever's having these children ought to have some more accountability. So if a student calls in a threat or puts something out on the internet, how is this answered? There ought to be some consequences for this type of behavior, because this is the only way that it's going to stop. And frankly, I'm tired of giving people passes. That was one concern. And then the other concern is about the building on the corner of Vandiver and Eno Roads. there is a proposal to do some building there, and it's going to be single family homes as well as townhouses. So I'm wondering if you, as our school board representatives, if you are aware of all the building that's going on and the impact that it's going to have on the enrollment of the schools in this area. And then the next question is, I think the school that you say is going to be replaced, I think it was a Camp Creek, I believe it was middle school, I believe you said. How
Yes,
old is
ma'am.
that school? How old is it?
Oh, I don't want to give you the wrong date, but it is one of our oldest buildings in our portfolio.
I mean, just a good estimate.
Early 90s, but I let me get you the exact date on when it was built.
Okay, but
Um,
even for 30 years, I'm tired. I remember when some work was done on Westlake,
mhm.
patching it up, and then the decision was made to build a new one. To me, this is wasteful. Schools in the past were not built every 30 years or whatever it is. We need to do some long-term planning and build for future growth so that taxpayers are not continuously saddled. Because frankly, with all the problems that we are having, for those who do pay school taxes, probably are not satisfied with what we're getting, what's being turned out. So I wish you speak to all of that.
Absolutely. So let's start with the holding the kids and the parents accountable. There is legislation, and I believe it has passed, that when a kid makes a threat, it is an automatic expulsion from school. So let's say that I'm a student and I'm in seventh grade and I make a threat. The threat is not valuable, but I make a threat. There's a whole protocol. I'm going to get disciplined, and I likely will not be back until the following year. The state legislature, ever since COVID, they are looking at even making it a criminal offense. Okay. One of the things that we have, you are exactly right when you talk about holding parents accountable. What we find is that the kids are on their phones and they are putting these threats into group chats, into those things, and there is no parental oversight, which is one of the reasons where we've banned phones from K-8. The state legislature is also thinking about banning phones for 9-12. But there is absolutely a parent component, and I would argue that the parent component 9.8 times out of 10, they are not being properly monitored on these devices. And yes, they are more technology savvy, but they're still kids. So I absolutely agree with you on that. So our state legislature is taking that up. We do put students out. We are not the piece to discipline the parents. However, there have been a lot of parental accountability laws where they are starting to talk about that. So I would definitely reach out to our state legislatures for that, because there's no way around it. We need the parents. And if the parents aren't monitoring their children, if they're not making sure their children are doing what they're supposed to do, the children continue to act up. The second thing is the building of Camp Creek Middle School. So Camp Creek Middle School is not funded by taxpayers. It is, but not in the way that traditionally the schools are. We do a penny splosh task. So what we find, even with an older house, but an older school, it's not so much the brick and mortar, it is the inside systems, it is the safety concerns. I'll give you an example. There was a time when all elementary schools were built where they were glass or the front had windows everywhere. Sometimes, like if I'm looking at, we've had to do some work where we've had to replace the type of windows, put wrap around them just for safety concerns. So as we're talking about funding schools and we're talking about building schools, we do not pay for schools out of our general funds. They come from the penny tax. I'm sorry. So anytime you go somewhere in Fulton County, it's a penny and that goes to the SPLOST, and that's how we build them. I would argue that one of the reasons that we're also rebuilding Camp Creek is because we are getting more students. So when you've built a school for 700 kids, but you now have 1,200 kids, you need to make sure that taxpayers aren't sitting in crowded buildings from there. So we do hear you on that. People have asked me, why don't you rebuild Stonewall Tail? There's nothing wrong with Stonewall Tail. Stonewall Tail is a great building. And so we're not going through and just haphazardly rebuilding schools to spend money. We are looking at underneath Camp Creek, there were issues with their pipes. So during the winter, their water pressure is very low, just things that we need to get in and fix. And so as we're building this new one, we have to put updated pipes underneath there. When you talk Seaborn Lee Elementary, I'm sorry, not Seaborn Lee, keep saying it, SL Lewis sewage was seeping out because of the pipes. The school had been built in the 50s, I believe. Don't quote me. So it was more economical for us to use our SPLOS instead of trying to go underneath the school, fix it multiple times. It's not working. It was better for us to build it. But we do hear you, and we're not haphazardly just rebuilding things just to rebuild them. The third thing is you asked me about, the traffic. Yes. So the city of South Fulton has a planning office, and so does Fulton County Schools. And we work together. So we look at all of the permits that are being pulled, have been pulled, will be pulled, that have been proposed. And we do forecasting every year. So every March, we bring and we say, this is the area where we see permits are being built. We need to start planning for that. A good example of that is Langston Hughes High School. For years, there was nothing back there, but we knew based on the permits that had been pulled 10, 15 years ago that there was development that was going to happen there. If you've been down Hall Road and looked at it lately, you will see that there are 3 or 4 subdivisions getting built, and there are 2 that are already there. And so we know that because of the permitting. So every year, our planning department comes in front of the board and they tell us, and I can provide, because you can see them year after year, they tell us where the building is going to happen, and we plan for it. Sometimes we plan for it because we will rezone kids. Sometimes we plan for it and we will say, we've got to build a new school in this area. And then sometimes we plan for it, and just like we did at Westlake, we might say, it's time for us to verify residencies because we're not seeing the building that is happening. One of the reasons why we are not letting any kids from outside of Westlake attend Westlake is because we know of the proposed, I don't want to call buildings, but proposed development. And so we are telling people right now, even though Westlake sits at 1,800 people, we cannot allow anybody who's not in the zone to go because we know what's coming. And the same thing's happening at Langston Hughes High School. So there is a joint partnership where our people talk to them, and we also talk to the county and all the other municipalities about what is being approved. We don't determine development, but we respond to development. And that has been our response. So we know in the next 10, 15 years, we will likely need to build a new elementary school closer to Chattahoochee Hills if some of the developments come online like they are planned to be. So there is a very good relationship between our department, City of South Fulton, Union City, Palmetto, any of our Fulton County cities that service our students, and we work with them. So hopefully that answered your questions.
It does, but I don't want to take up too much more. But the thing
Yes, ma'am.
about that is that are we ever going to go back to neighborhood schools? Because I live on Vandiver, and this is just I guess every student that drives a car to Westlake comes through here, and they drive fast, and believe it or not, the bus drivers drive fast. It's so fast that I can't even get out there to get the number off of the bus.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Wow.
problem. And if I have a doctor's appointment up at the Kaiser up at Cumberland at 8:30, 8:15, I can barely get out my driveway. So it's a problem. And you mentioned the T-Splosh. The only thing about that is that you're going to force residents to do their shopping in other counties. Because being either way, if it's raising tax for it or adding a sales tax, the point is that Fulton County has one of the highest, I think, taxes in the metro area. So somebody needs to start thinking about that because I find myself shopping outside of Fulton County more often than I used to.
Absolutely. And when we talk, I just talked about the budget and setting it. Our millage, so you see, of course, everybody knows you see three millages on your tax bill. You see the city of South Fulton, you see Fulton County, you see Fulton County Schools. Fulton County Schools has the lowest tax base out of the other school systems. So we hear you. One of the things that we have to juggle is City of South Fulton, the Westlake, Langston, and Creekside zones are highly desirable for families. And so we have new people moving in, and we have to be smart about development and what our response to schools look like. Um, this will be, Westlake has not allowed any kids from out of zone. This is their first year. It is a problem. My kids go to Westlake, and driving down Van Diver is a nightmare depending on what time it is. We have some solutions. I know we've talked to some of the council people about some of the solutions and what it would look like. However, one of the things when you talk neighborhood schools, the kids who live around Sandtown go to Sandtown. We don't allow any kids from outside. Same thing with A. Philip Randolph. It is a neighborhood school. Westlake, being the magnet, attracts different kids from different areas, but we've had to stop that. So hopefully we'll start to see some of that relief or offer them an alternate path so that residents on that street aren't being crowded into from there.
Thank you. I appreciate your
No
response.
problem. Yes,
Miss
ma'am.
Miss Ingram, your hand is up.
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. Malika Ingram here. A quick question about the capacity of Westlake High School. You mentioned there's 1,800 students currently there. What's the maximum capacity for the school? And then
The
what's
maximum,
mhm.
no, go ahead.
And the second part of that question is what's the student teacher ratio?
Student teacher ratio, I don't have a number on me right now. Usually it's been about 25-1, depending on the class. The higher the classes you go, the smaller the classes are. So you being in an IB class is a little bit smaller class than you being in a regular ninth grade class. Westlake sits at 1,800, and I'll put a link into the chat for our school profile reports because those are updated nightly. So nightly we can see how many students are in each school that we have. So Westlake's capacity is about 1,865. The reason why we're not letting kids into Westlake is because who live out of zone is because you have to have at least 20, you have to be at a 90% capacity. Westlake is almost approaching that. So we say people who live in the neighborhood, we don't want them to be overcrowded. So hence, we can't let kids from outside of the zone go to school there. So Westlake is built smaller than some of the other high schools on how it was originally built. And also, let me add, so a lot of parents will say, hey, there's a lot of building. Shouldn't we make Westlake bigger? Shouldn't we build a new high school? We have built 3 new high schools. So we have Global Impact Academy that has taken overcrowding at Westlake away. Also Promise and Career Institute, which is another one of our high schools in downtown College Park. So those are some of the schools that we've used to say, so that Westlake doesn't get crowded and to help with some of our enrollment.
So thank you for those answers. The development that Ms. Iris mentioned, they're about 140 units. And so if we only have the capacity to add 65 more students at Westlake, that'll be problematic. And that's only one of many developments that are residential developments that are planned for South Fulton for that particular area.
Absolutely. And you also have to remember, because I had this question come to me also about, let's say it's 300 units. Everybody is not going to have a high school level student to go in there. So when we build them and we look at them, parents are not having the number of kids they were having 10, 15 years ago. So you might get 130 units. I don't know the price range for them, but you might say out of those 130, there might be 30 families for there. Now, when we say 1865, that doesn't mean that we can't fit more. Westlake at one point had 2,534 students before we rezoned and redistricted. What that means is that's what the state has told us. So we try to stay true to that number. So it's not you're going to have a development with 50 homes and all 50 homes are going to have high school students. What I will do when I come in March, I'm going to show you guys our planning department. And I don't know if many of you might know Miss Ingrid Huff. She was over planning for decades in Fulton County. She is over the department now, and our numbers have been about through 1% deviation. So when we're planning for this and looking at this, we're looking at past trends so we can accurately forecast. I'm gonna give you an example of something that has caught us off guard. There are communities being built that are rent only. They do not sell, they are rent only. And a lot of these rent only communities have 5 to 6 bedrooms. And so what we're finding down in Union City, because that's where a lot of them are at, is that it has been hard for us to forecast those because we don't know if you're renting that. If you are renting a 5 to 6 bedroom, you probably have multiple people and or multiple children in the household. So the way we do our forecasting, we do not forecast one for one. We do not say this community is going to be 140 and those 140 are going to all come to our schools. We look at the forecasting of it and we go from there. But what I'll do in March when we have our new one, and I'll do our one from last year because it goes up until this year, you'll see how we forecast and how we've been right. There's a science to it, and there's a computer program that helps us accurately plan for it. So are those on the corner of Van Diver and Enon? Will there be school age children there? Absolutely. Are there school age children at the new apartments that are by Publix? Absolutely. But what we've also found is that we have had to be very detail oriented, that all because you bring a lease from one of those places, it does not necessarily mean that you live there or that you have children there. So we've had to have very tight protocols that if I go get an apartment over on this side and I let 3 or 4 people use my address, that throws off our numbers. So we have had to be very specific and move kids. And if you do not physically live over here, you cannot go to the schools.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? I'm going to, Mr. Davis, I'm going to send it to you. There's a presentation from March of last year. It does 5 years. So it did this year, 25, 26, and then 5 years before. And you can look at school about how many students we forecasted and how many students showed up and what we are anticipating in the next years based on development. And I'll send you guys that presentation so you guys can see it.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Hello?
I know we can hear you. I guess there's no more questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Hey,
you. Thank you.
Councilwoman.
Okay, this is Harvey. Deborah's internet's acting up, so she asked me to help lead us through. I know we've got Councilwoman Rowell and our newly elected Councilman Aaron Johnson for District 2, and we'll go with that. I don't know about the developers, but we can go after the council members do it.
Thank you so much, Harvey, and I'll be brief. Happy New Year. It's good to be back with you. A couple updates. January 19th, we have our MLK Day cleanup with the Cascade BMA. If you're not doing anything, feel free to join us at 10 a.m. We also have a Shred and Recycle Day coming up January 24th from 9 to 12 at Sandtown Park. And these are just a few updates on things that we've been working on and having meetings about over the last few months. As you know, we had an applicant seek a rezoning from mixed-use development to C2 to allow for a storage facility at 0 Riverside Drive. That was voted on December. I voted against it. It was approved by City Council. Mayor Khalid vetoed it, and it will be back on the agenda on Tuesday, January 13th at 7 p.m. I'm sharing this because I have gotten some of your emails for those who have been tracking it. I wanted to make you aware. Um, I sent out the agenda in my District 1 newsletter this evening. So one of the things that I noticed, the public comment is actually after the city council votes. So if you want to weigh in on that, I encourage you to do so via the public comment process, and I've provided a link to that in the newsletter.
Wait,
Um,
wait, wait. But did you say that the public comment is after the
yes,
council votes?
yes, and let me share
It's still
why.
quite special.
Let
That seems to be a
let
backward.
Miss Denson, please let me respond. So you got to remember, zoning is a legal process. The public hearing for this case was in December. Alma Hill was there to speak on behalf of Sandtown Community Association, and Debbie Davis sent a letter in opposition to that meeting. So Sandtown was there to speak for, I mean, against the proposal. Nobody spoke in support of it. But I will tell you, there was a petition that was presented to council with some residents and some realtors on this list in support of this. And I'm sharing this because although we've been tracking this case since July, when it came to our vote, I was out voting, and I'm not the only vote. So I'm sharing with you so you share that feedback with other electeds because I can't do this by myself. So I'll leave it right there. The public comment per zoning, once we've gone through the um, zoning hearing, you're not supposed to be given additional input. But I'm telling you, I know that that applicant has been lobbying very hard for this, especially after they were made aware that the mayor vetoed it. So I'm just sharing this information. Um, if you want to go back, you can watch the December 9th meeting, 7 o'clock meeting, 5 o'clock meeting, I'm sorry, when we had the public hearing. And again, I sent that out in my newsletter. Another thing that's going on, which I'm excited about, is as you know, we have been working, the city has been working with Fulton County on Renew the District, which is focused on the transformation of Fulton Industrial. As you know, great strides have been made. Um, Crime is basically at an all-time low on Fulton Industrial. And just over the holiday week or in December, they demolished the Red Roof Inn on Fulton Industrial. And the other demolitions are scheduled to happen. We're just waiting on one more permit, I think, from City of Atlanta Watershed. And that will result in the demolition of the Valero, the former McDonald's, and the Knights Inn. And so what will happen after that, Select Fulton will issue a RFP for developers to propose new projects on those parcels that are owned by the county. And so we're looking forward to seeing some major transformation along, will continue transformation along Fulton Industrial. Also at Cascade and Fulton Industrial, uh, this spring, they will be moving forward on and this is the Fulton Industrial CID, will be working on the configuration and redesign of the intersection at Cascade and Fulton Industrial, which many of you know has been problematic. They'll also be making improvements at the intersection of Camp Creek and Fulton Industrial. So I wanted to make you aware of that. We are still working with GDOT. The staff has been meeting with them on a monthly basis to address issues on state roads. Two other things I want to point out, they are working to try to get a full traffic signal at Riverside and Fulton Industrial, as well as it's been a request submitted for um, Camilton Road and Enon Road. So those are some things I want to make you aware of. For those who have inquired about the sidewalks along New Hope Road, yes, the project is still moving forward. It was a delay, but Fulton County approved at their last meeting, I think in December, to allocate the money that'll allow for the sewer expansion that is coming down Boat Rock, Elva Drive, Bruce Place, and parts of Camilton Road in New Hope. So you didn't see as much activity then, and they were still working on some utility relocations. But I'm sure if you notice over the last couple of days, they've resumed a lot of activity along New Hope as it relates to the sidewalks to include some of the tree, removal and the project is moving forward. So that's my update, and I'll open it up to questions.
Hi, Councilwoman. This is Alma
Hmm.
Hill. I have a question, a follow-up question about the bus
Okay.
um, on Campbellton Road. I
Okay.
saw someone from MARTA out yesterday, and they added a little image of a bus on these signs. But it looks like they have a stop right on Campbellton, right in front of Promenade. They have another stop on Campbellton near the roundabout, and that's going west. And then they have stops going east on Campbellton. So and it's supposed to start, this bus service is going to be bus number 80, and it's supposed to start April 18th.
Right. So what I've asked, I've had several people, I'm sorry I didn't address that. Several people did inquire about that. I reached out to the mayor and asked her and the city manager, could they bring Marta to our future work session? It is my understanding they'll be at our January 27th work session, which is at 4 o'clock, to make us aware of those. I know they had a next gen input meetings, I guess, last year where they got input from residents, and then they went to designing these routes. So while I don't currently have a look, I have a description of where they've gone, that they'll be presenting on any proposed MARTA expansion into the city of South Fulton at that January 27th. The two I'm aware of in our area is, like you said, Bus 80, which is a new route, so I don't have the full information on that, as well as Route 73, which goes down Fulton Industrial. And that, right now, that line has been there for a long time, but it would stop at West Park, and it's supposed to extend, I believe I heard, down to Camilton and Fulton Industrial, because that whole section of warehouses doesn't have any public transportation at this time.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'll
Tune
probably
in,
attend the
and I'll just
January.
I'll remind you, but they've said January 27th they'll be at our work session.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Haynes, and then
Hi,
Ms.
Doc.
Ingram. Okay.
Okay. Dr. Rowell, I noticed, especially during the month of December, that the MARTA parking lot that's at the corner of Barge and Camilton
Mm-hmm.
had several 18-wheeler tractors parked in the MARTA lot. Are you aware that they are doing this now? I counted about 6 trailers parked there. It seemed kind of odd, but I just didn't understand why would they be parked in the MARTA parking lot, and they were backed up to Campbellton Road. You could actually, just when you're driving down Campbellton, and they're just there.
I don't know, but I can certainly ask about that when they come present from us. Of course, the city of South Fulton doesn't start on Camilton Road till you get past really to Enon Road. So that area is the city of Atlanta, but I have no problem trying to get, was that something temporary? I'm just not aware, but I can look into that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Rowell.
Yes, I think Miss Ingram was next. Can I get Miss Ingram and then take you, Miss Denson?
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Miss Ingram?
Okay, yes. Hey, good evening, Councilwoman Raw. That's great positive news about Fulton Industrial and the closure of the hotels and new developer bids. So thank you for sharing that good news. Want to know, do you have an update about the development on the corner of Camp Creek and Campbellton, the Live Work Play development?
Yes, I have a little update. So I know they went before the Fulton County Development Authority, is what I understand, to get them to extinguish their portion of the taxes. They've pretty much lined up their financing, is what I understand, and they're hoping to break ground this spring, is the latest update. I
I think he hit mute.
Hello? You
Yes,
there?
you
Yeah.
went out. Your audio went out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um, from what I understand from Mr. Karimi, that they are very close to having their anchor tenant. And for those who know, they usually don't move forward on construction until they had an anchor tenant because that's what's going to pay for the construction to allow them to get their financing. And so, a lot of people often ask, "Hey, what retail will be on this plaza or that plaza in the plaza?" They don't know. They're focused on more this one that's going to cover the loan, the construction loan, and then they start layering in with the other tenants. So their projected break ground is spring, is what I'm hearing.
Okay, okay, excellent. And what's the development firm? What's the lead development firm on that?
Oh, oh God, what is Hutch Development?
Okay.
Hutch Development.
And the site plan, has the site plan been released and available for the public to
Yes,
review?
yes, they have that has to be approved when we approve it. So yes, it is available.
Okay.
It's
All
on the
right.
city's website. If you look under community development and regulatory affairs, it should be every site plan for anything we've approved is posted to that website for all districts all across the city.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Uh, is that Jill Johnson? I see a hand.
Now,
Oh,
now it's Jewel Coleman.
okay. Hi, Miss Coleman. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. How can I help you? What's your question?
I have a question. We recently received a public notice about some rezoning on Riverside Drive and Plummer Road for
Mm-hmm.
data center
Mm-hmm.
expansion. Do you have any insight on that? I
I
think
don't.
the meeting is scheduled for January 28th. We've created. You have any insight on that?
No, all I have is I've received that same notice that you've received. That applicants, when you're in a certain distance from a project, they have to send out the notice. So that's why you're receiving it. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a rezoning request, but at this time, that's the only information I have.
Okay, thank you.
I think again, as is customary with Sandtown, uh, they can reach out and also ask the applicant to join us to brief the community.
Okay, thank you.
Am I up, Ms. Rowell? Councilwoman Rowell?
Uh-huh. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Denson. Go ahead.
That's okay. The data center. Listen, I am very concerned about the abundance of these data centers being put into our community. I guess it's getting up to this area now, but I know if you go down Union City, there is nothing good about them that I have read. The electricity cost goes up, the water quality goes down. I mean, is there going to be some kind of moratorium? And are they
We we
being
act we actually passed a moratorium, but some of these applicants has started before the moratorium. So we have an ordinance that was supported by myself, Councilwoman Gums, Councilwoman Williams Brown, and Councilwoman Bell for a moratorium. But I think it's a few of them that again they started the process before we adopted it. So that's that's kind of where we are.
okay?
And we are trying to make sure we look at our current ordinance to make sure many of the concerns we've heard from residents, we're trying to take into consideration. And I say that because I think our current code requires that they only be in industrial areas. But even with that, we want to make sure we put as many safeguards in place as possible. And that edge, again, I'm the area that they're proposing. I know people are getting it because that particular part of food and industrial is closer towards residential area. Because for those who don't know where Riverside Drive, this is the side street that you come out of Publix. So if
Mhm.
you go to the left is Union Road going towards Westlake. Riverside is that road, that same road, but it's on the side with Publix till you go to Foot and Industrial. That's also the same location of where the proposed storage facility is at the end of that street.
And then my other question about these data centers is, uh, have you taken a look at the sites in the metro area? Because if you notice historically, for example, landfill dumps, they have been sited primarily in African American communities. I'm wondering if the same thing is happening with these data centers. I don't know. I think you're probably in more of a position to know than I, but I am concerned about that because we have the worst health problem of any segment of the population. And why we always get the most undesirable things in our neighborhood. Now, I realize a part of the problem is that we don't rally up and protest. Other folks do get lawyers and go into courts about it. But are you able to share anything about that with
Well,
us?
that's exactly why we did the moratorium, so we can look. I can tell you, there are data centers. It's a link. I'll try to find it and include it in my next newsletter, where you can actually see a map that shows you where all the data centers are. Just to give you perspective, I think last time I checked, Atlanta had like 147 data centers. We have probably about 6 or 7 in total, and we're roughly the same land mass. And I'm not pointing it out to do comparison, but to let you know we want to regulate it in a way that makes sense, but we also have to recognize we're also um, fueling this. We're going to make sure our ordinance, and I will promise you, as we continue to look at how we revise this, I'll be bringing this to my quarterly town hall meeting, and we're going to likely have some just standalone meetings on data centers. I mean, I'm encouraged because 4 of us on the legislation, so we're all very cognizant of your concerns.
Well, I appreciate that because, like I said, I'm getting tired of seeing sites for undesirable facilities that are bad on health historically being put into Black communities.
I,
And I'm
I,
hoping
I
that
feel you 110%.
okay, and since we have a lot of politicians that look like me, I'm hoping that they will do a better job of protecting us than what other folks have done historically. And with that, that's my last comment for tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Denson, and you know how to reach me. So if you have any other ideas you want to share, please do so.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
A quick comment as a follow-up to Ms. Denson's comments, and which I totally agree with. And you mentioned that the South Fulton will be doing some working sessions to put some legislation in place to avoid this from happening. So I'm suggesting that we not just think about the data centers, but think about future technologies like quantum computing and other technologies that are coming that will impact the environment and our communities as well, so that whatever legislation is written, it lasts, is future forward thinking, and not just focus on the data centers, but the broader implications of technology on the environment in our communities.
We plan to bring in some experts to help us figure it out. You know, we hear the concerns, but we're not experts in that. It's policymakers, but that's our job to make sure we tap into expertise that can get us the right solutions. And I'm encourage you, Ms. Ingram, to be engaged if this is an area of expertise to help us get it right.
Oh, yes, you know I will be.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Dr. Royal, this
Uh,
is Anon Francis.
Hi, how you
At the
doing?
start of this year, I think it would be valuable if citizens could learn what major projects are planned for a community that would generate quality jobs and just be able to raise the value such that we can find home buyers who are looking for higher priced homes, but just any development plan that you can share with us at this time.
Oh yeah, I can send that. My last town hall I had for those who would, I think Miss Hayes was there, I believe, but I provided a list of all the developments that have a land disturbance permit on that document, and I had also spoke to the Georgia Board of Realtors to share that. So I can provide that in terms of a development. But I can tell you, of course, in District 1, if you drive around, every infield piece of dirt somebody is trying to build on. They're primarily single families because compared to other districts, we're primarily built out with the exception of the St. Road Riverside, where we have a couple new developments. We have a townhome community and a single family for sale product. And so, but most of the infield, those are higher end. You even have one going on around the corner from you. If you have you been on Elva lately?
Yes.
But I would, yeah. So I don't really have the individual home sales. I have more the subdivision data, not necessarily individual building permits. But if you've been on Cascade, you saw 4 or 5 new infields along Cascade Road.
Mhm.
Um, and I saw 2 additional come through. Those are large estate homes as well.
Okay. Any commercial development that would bring quality jobs?
Well, the one we've been working on, the Hutch one, that is a large scale. That's a 61-acre site. Um, that's a big one. You have quite a few of them going on along Foot Industrial, and some proposed redevelopment projects. But um, I would have to try to get with staff and see how we could gather that data and put it in a way that is digestible, or we could present it to you. So I'll look into that, Mr. Francis. I don't currently have that information readily available.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Mr. Bailey?
Yeah, just a quick question. You mentioned the redevelopment at the intersection of Fulton Industrial and Interstate 20, near where y'all doing all the demo. Do you know what type of projects you're looking for that you're putting out RFPs for in that area?
What I will say is, what might be instructive, Select Food and put out a RFP when they demolished the hotel on Food and Industrial Circle. While this one is not out, I would think it might be similar. And that's really all I can offer at this time. We just trying to get the buildings down right now, and I'm super excited about that. If that concludes my report. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing. I put in the chat, there are some tickets available, I think, for the 6 o'clock inauguration reception for our new mayor and incoming council. It will be at the Georgia International Convention Center at 6 p.m. The inauguration filled up very fast, which is at the Southwest Arts Center on this Saturday at 2. But there were some tickets still left for the 6 o'clock event, and I put it in the chat. So if you're interested, it is a black tie affair. Um, please join us.
Well, thank you, Councilwoman. Well, next we've got the District 2 Councilman Aaron Johnson on the line.
Good evening, everyone. I almost said afternoon for some reason. I am Aaron Johnson. I am your new District 2 council member for the city of South Fulton. I'm very excited to be here. I know that most of you have very little idea of who I am because I have a small portion of Sandtown in the district. I'm primarily the Cliftondale area, but I have some very active members from Sandtown, so we will definitely be. I'll be on the meeting. I may not be here every month, but I'll be here just enough to make sure we stay working. We keep a working relationship together. Just to let you know a little bit about me, I've lived over in Cliftondale. I live right off of Stonewall Tail Road for the last 20 years. My wife is an educator over at Westlake High School. I have three children, but two of my boys, one has gone through Stonewall Till, Sandtown Middle, and graduated from Westlake High School. And I have another one that's kind of following in his footsteps, and he is currently a ninth grader at Westlake High School. Just wanted you all to know, everybody get to know me and get to know a little more about me. We'll be working together. I've had the very good fortune of working for most of you over the past couple of years. I've served the last 8 years on the elections board for Fulton County. I've also served on the Board of Zoning Appeals for the city of South Fulton. So I've been working for our community for a very long time, and I look forward over the next 4 years to have a good working relationship with everyone and looking out for everyone. I've been able to meet with Councilwoman Rao. We had a sit down. We've actually been working together for a very long time. We've known each other for a very long time as well. But I've had a chance to sit down and talk to her about some of the things that we can work together on, considering our districts have a lot in common. I shop at Publix almost every single day. My wife sends me up there for everything all the time. So even though it's in District 1, we're right across the street. Also, I unfortunately I don't have the very nice report that the councilwoman had, but I am currently meeting with staff at the city. I have a meeting with our planning and development departments next week, and the city manager. I just got my badge the other day. They just gave me a key the other day. So I'm getting acclimated and I'm ready to start working for you. So I look forward to working with Sandtown just as much as I'll be working with Cliftondale and doing all that we can to make sure that the city of South Fulton achieves the promise that we know it can be and the hard work. So I look forward to working with you. If you have any current questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer. Other than that, let's get to work.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Ms. Gums? All right.
Hi, I'm here. Hi, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I just wanted to join you all to say Happy New Year, and it's been quite a pleasure as far as serving the Sandtown community as the District 2 Council woman. You all are in great hands, but I will be joining these meetings periodically just to stop in and say hello and give you any updates as well. I don't know why my phone is looking a little crooked, but thank you again for all of the support. Again, the city is moving in the right direction. We have a lot of great things that are happening. Of course, we are celebrating because we did not have an inauguration. Really, when I think 4 years ago, we were still coming out of the pandemic. So this is an exciting time for our city, and we're turning a new chapter. So if you have not gotten your tickets for the reception, please do. The swearing in, of course, we wanted to make sure that we had it at the Arts Center to show off our newly renovated center. So please, if you can, make sure you join. If not, it will be shown online. So more exciting things to come with that. But that will be this weekend while we celebrate the new era and this council. Just kind of some things to give you an update. The city received a $480 million grant for safe streets. We got some great plans with that. that is really important because we've been doing a lot of the work to pull the data. Some of you all have gotten tickets. Some of you, we are really trying to slow down people in the city of South Fulton to make our streets safer. This grant will help us with any type of lighting, sidewalks, or any type of transportation modes that we need for the city. So, wanted to share that exciting news. So, again, we have a lot of great things that are happening, and just I ask you to stay tuned, continue to pray for this council, and continue to pray for the city of South Fulton. And please, I will be keeping up with my newsletters. We will be having mayor moments. And just opportunities for you all to call and weigh in if there are concerns. I will be accessible. So thank you again for your support and look forward to leading the city of South Fulton. And that's all, unless anyone has any questions of me.
Well, thank you, Mayor
You-
Gums. I understand from Deborah that we've got a Mr. Bailey that's on the call to do a presentation and not to miss him. Are you there?
Yes. Yes, sir. I am here, Mr. Davis. Thank you for acknowledging me. My name is Henry Bailey. I have been before you all before with the same applicant and developer. This is a property located at 6550 Fulton Industrial Boulevard that we have rezoned portions of this property previously. I had come to you all as a Sandtown association with respect to changing the overlay previously that you all supported. And since that prior rezoning, and I'll share my screen here in a second. Since that prior rezoning, we've been able to put additional property under contract, which we have come to talk to you all about as well a couple months back. And now that process is formally underway, going through the DRI, and after having conversations with District 1 Councilwoman Dr. Rao, we felt it was important to go ahead and start having conversations with you all again now. So if you will, I'll share my screen. You want to see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So again, this is property located at 6550 Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And what you see here on the screen is a representative example of what we propose the buildings to look like. And just from a technical standpoint, what we're requesting to do is rezone a portion of the property that's not already zoned light industrial to light industrial to accommodate the building light industrial warehouse distribution type facilities. And it's important to note that we're talking about light industrial, not heavy industrial, but light industrial type uses, i.e., packaging or distribution, things like that. So I'll go into the presentation a bit. So here's the site plan that this is a rendered site plan, the actual technical site plan that we've submitted to the city and to the DRI process is reflective of this, but not as pretty as this. So I wanted to show you all the pretty one. And what we're talking about here is a project that this portion of the property, if you can see my cursor, and I'll show you a slide here in a moment that kind of gives a better detail of this. But this portion of the property here, roughly in this area, is already zoned light industrial that we've gotten approved with the city of South Fulton a couple of years ago, and then in 2024 for the most recent piece. And that is at the same time we came to you all at Sandtown to remove a portion of the property from the Sandtown overlay into the Fulton Industrial Business District overlay. And again, since then, we've been able to acquire additional land and go on the contract on additional land to allow for us to do the site plan that we're showing before you here today. And one thing I want to point out to you that you'll notice is that we're not proposing any development in this area here on that has access to Campbellton Road. So all access to this property will be located off of Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And I think that's very important for us to note because Fulton Industrial Boulevard is one of the main industrial corridors in the city of South Fulton. There's industrial development on both sides of this project along Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And we respect the fact that there are residential areas not too far away, and which drives our intent and our site plan to keep as much vegetative buffering that is existing today in place as possible to ensure screening from a site standpoint and a noise standpoint. And on the noise standpoint, what we've done down in this area is we've turned all the truck courts internal, which also helps reduce the noise. And so here's what we're talking about, right? So this little red box here is the location of where our project is. Everything you see here in this red dash or hashed area is the Fulton Industrial Business District overlay. The way this is drawn is kind of funky, if you will, as a sort of a step stool, if you will. And a portion of our property is already within the Fulton Industrial Business District overlay, and this portion here is still located in the Sandtown overlay, which is partly why we're coming to talk to you all today. And so, just another clear example of the zoning map here. So this area here, where my cursor is the area that has previously been zoned light industrial. Right, and that's a large portion of the site plan. The rest of the area is zone sub A, which is what we're proposing to rezone to light industrial. This area is also the area located within the Sandtown overlay district. And to make it more clear, there has been some recently completed industrial buildings in the Sandtown overlay, which are very close to our project to the north, that kind of drives the sort of intent that we have here to ensure that the overlay matches the actual development. The Sandtown overlay, when you look at the overlay district, it does not lend itself to an industrial type development. And given the location of this project to Fulton Industrial Boulevard and the Fulton Industrial Business District overlay, it appears more appropriate for this segment of the property to be located within the Fulton Industrial Business District overlay as opposed to the Sandtown overlay. So what you see here is this proposed dash border here is where we're proposing the future overlay border line to be located. And so with that, I'll take any questions that you all might have, and just to kind of put a bow on this. What we understand that this is a project that is going to require certain level of communication, engagement, and correspondence. We really would like you all support in that regard, and we're happy to have as many conversations and answer as many questions as necessary on that end. So with that, we'll take any questions you have.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
My concern is, this overlay didn't just happen. There was a lot of work that went into it.
Mm-hmm.
And my concern is that once you start changing something because it's convenient for the developer, that then you'll get more changes. So it defeats the purpose for trying to control the appearance of what goes in a community. So that's my concern.
Understood. And again, just to restate it, the Sandtown overlay district, the requirements from an aesthetic standpoint don't really apply technically to an industrial development. They're certainly more suited towards the residential type developments and residential neighborhoods, whereas the requirements in the Fulton Industrial Business District overlay are directly applicable to industrial developments. And so we certainly don't want to be in the position of where we're coming to the Sandtown overlay or the Sandtown Community Association asking for a number of variances from all of the requirements of the overlay district because they don't fit. I think the more appropriate way to approach it, and this is from conversations we've had with the city staff, is to remove the property itself from the overlay district and put it in the overlay district that's more appropriate. Ms. Ingram?
Yes. So are there buildings there now, or you will be constructing new buildings in that space?
There are no buildings there now on the property that we own or the property that we have an interest in, but we are planning to develop it based on the site plan that I was showing earlier.
Okay. And the types of jobs that if this is approved, I'm with Ms. Denson though. I I think that the overlay was done intentionally and thought out and et cetera. But what are the types of jobs as far as salary range that will be available if this development happens?
Well, for one, there's not an end user there's not an end user that has committed to this project yet. But there are a variety of types of jobs ranging from blue collar to white collar jobs to your typical distribution jobs, warehouse jobs, a number of different jobs with a number of different salary ranges. Everything from again your office jobs to the jobs that you will find in any other sort of distribution type facility. But the jobs will be very good paying jobs from a range standpoint. But beyond that, we can't commit to, at least not yet, what the actual range will be until the zoning is approved, because these sort of tenants won't even sniff the project until the zoning is.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bailey, you said light industrial, do you have an idea of what businesses you all will go after though?
From a I thought I heard another question as well. So, but from a use standpoint, we're absolutely going to be limited to the types of uses that are permitted within the light industrial district now. And the types of businesses that we go after will also be limited to the types of business that have an interest in this project in this location. I can't say for sure what those types of businesses are yet, because we don't know based on the level of interest that we've got. Again, that's going to be tied directly to us getting the zoning.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I know Bridge Logistics has already done new construction in the city of Southwood several years ago, as you mentioned. So this would be their second project. Can you speak to it, and even if you can't do it today, bring back or share with Sandtown the kind of users that are currently there? Because you can visually go look at the first phase that they did a few years ago. I'm just sharing that with the residents that they've already done some development along Foot and Industrial, not far from this location, which is some of our newer industrial spaces in the city of South Fulton. But I think if we could at least have some information on those tenants, that would be helpful.
Sure, and just to be clear on this particular site, well, although we've got it rezoned in the past few years, we have not done any development on this site yet. That's what you were referencing.
I no, I'm recognizing that. I'm just saying, so they'll give an idea
Gotcha,
who
gotcha.
Bridge Logistics and who have been some of your tenants at your other site in
I
South Florida,
understand.
right down the street. That's all I'm
I
saying.
understand. Yep, I got you.
Yes, Miss Ingram put in the chat, please send me a copy of this presentation. And she has an email address.
Question, I may have missed it. Where's this located exactly in Fulton Industrial?
So just north of the intersection of Camilton and Fulton Industrial Boulevard on, I guess that's the east side of Fulton Industrial Boulevard if you're heading towards I-20.
Oh, it's the other way, going toward 20.
No,
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
no. So let me help you. So if
Please.
you were going down Camilton Road, you got to Foot and Industrial and Cascade Palmetto. Instead of going to the left, you go to the right,
Okay,
and it'll be
okay.
on the right hand side. Now, what's different about the warehouses, because um, since I've been in office, we updated the food and industrial overlay. You can't see those warehouses at all.
Hmm.
They sit back off the road. You have landscaping at the front. So it may not be readily apparent to you, but they're there. And so you could drive and look at Bridges' current project, which it looks very similar to what he showed on this screen. But yeah, it's on this end, closer to this end.
Do we have any other questions? Well, what are the next steps?
So
Where do?
So we are fully within the DRI process right now, going through and then just for a quick for educational purposes, the DRI process it analyzes traffic impacts and other impacts for developments of certain scales. And so the DRI process is underway right now where they're analyzing the traffic study to determine if there are any traffic improvements that need to be made as a result of this project with respect to vehicular traffic and transit. So it's a joint study between the Atlanta Regional Commission and the Georgia Regional Transit Authority. And so that study is underway. And once that is completed, then we'll go into the actual City of South Fulton process, which is the Community Zoning Information Meeting, Planning Commission, the zoning public hearing, and the actual City Council vote. And as also as a part of that, we'll have a neighborhood, well, not so much a neighborhood, but a public participation meeting with residents within a mile radius of the site, which is a requirement of the City of South Fulton. In addition to that, we will also be doing reach out, which we've already done some of, to Zion Hill Baptist Church next door, to the neighborhoods and the residents that live in the most immediate area, Rock Haven, and the neighborhood across Campbellton to the south. So all of that will be a part of this process. And so from a next step standpoint, and if it's required, if it's necessary, we're happy to come back. We're happy to come back to Sandtown if that's required to obtain your support, and have another meeting, have additional conversation.
Okay. And when you
Miss Davis, I just want to share, I actually encouraged them to start the conversation early so that the community would be aware if there were concerns that we could work through those or get that feedback early on and not late in the process. Um, I don't know, and maybe Mr. Bailey can share light on how long does it usually take for the DRI process to complete?
That's 4 to 5 months. And we started that in earnest early December. I want to say December 8th was our first methodology meeting. So we're very early in that process. So we've got a ways to go before that process is completed.
Okay, thank you.
And DRI for everybody means direct regional impact. Is that what?
Development of regional impact. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Are there, well, we will love to have you back, particularly, now you said you were going to share with us what you have. You can send that on the email to me about what you have in your other, the types of businesses you have in your other development that's off of Fulton Industrial, and we'll put that on the website or something. Share it with
Sure.
everybody. Okay.
And just to be clear, well, we would hope if you all support this project to receive a letter of support or something in that respect from you all with respect to us moving from Sandtown to Fulton Industrial Business District.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Someone said we need to go visit the site and see how it impacts residential properties nearby.
Miss Ingram, I will assure you, and Mr. Bailey will tell you, I'm straight out the gate. If it touches anywhere near Campbellton Road or residential, that would not work for me.
Okay.
I
Okay.
do encourage you.
Yeah.
And so much so, I get in the car, I drive it, I go check. But I
Okay.
encourage you to do the same.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Please know
Thank
that.
you.
On our previous application, we actually did this, took a
Yeah.
tour of the site.
Yep. I made them show me.
She, she didn't give me any gas money. But no, I'm joking. But look, we toured the site. It's a very visually, you really can't see these projects. And when you look at it from a bird's eye view, they look really close. But because of the elevation changes and the actual vegetation that's there now, it's very hard to see or hear any of the industrial projects fronting along Fort Industrial Boulevard from the neighborhoods behind it.
All righty. Are there any other questions? All right. Marilyn, Harvey, Donald, do you all have anything to add? Marilyn, you all mute.
Just
No, I
wanted to
don't.
say Happy New Year. And don't forget to send your
Dues.
dues. That's right. Thank you very much. $25 per person, $40 for a family, $50 for a community or residential area.
Okay,
And that's all I have to say.
I want to add a comment regarding the Jews. I attempted to submit my formal application and pay dues online, but the application was not active. What is the other method to do that?
You can
Harvey, can
send,
you?
I was going
okay,
to
go
say
ahead.
I need to take a look because basically our site for paying dues points to the PayPal site. So it's definitely secure. And I've got your number. I can follow up with you, but um,
Excellent. And it could be a browser conflict. Let me know if it
right.
doesn't did work, and I can try it with multiple browsers and let
Yes.
you.
I mean, I will tell you that it's our site is not um, HTTPS secure,
Okay.
but we don't do any transactions on the site. And I'm just not ready to rewrite it. But in any event, what I'll also do is I can put a link on our Facebook page
Mhm.
for paying dues. It should be able to take you straight there.
Perfect. Let me know when you do that by email, and I'll
Well,
proceed from there.
thanks.
And then
Thanks.
Harvey, can you put the post office box address on there too, in case they want to send a check?
Mhm.
Uh, yes, I can. It's actually it's on the bottom of the homepage of
Gotcha.
sandtown.org. Uh,
Okay,
PO Box 311307.
that's it.
Okie doke.
And it's on the bottom of the agenda as well. It's always printed there.
I have a, I have a question for Mr. Bailey. Is he still available?
I'm still here,
Yes.
Ms. Jensen.
Yes. Getting back to the compensation. I mean, warehouse jobs don't really pay that much. So we are only going to continue to get primarily warehouses in this area.
Sorry, what are you? What's the question exactly?
Okay, I think someone asked earlier, I think it was Miss Ingram, I believe, that asked earlier about the jobs or the compensation, give some idea.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, I guess there'll be some office workers or whatever, but primarily it's going to be like warehouses. And I
Well,
said warehouses don't traditionally just don't pay that much money. So I guess I wish somebody would bring something in that you know paid more money than warehouse jobs. Of course, if the economy gets worse, we may be happy to have a warehouse job.
Mm.
I understand your question very clearly. And so again, the types of jobs that we will have here will be a range of jobs. Warehouse jobs will be a component of that. What that exact range is today, I can't say. But if you look at the project holistically, the project built out completely. We're talking about a 25x on a tax revenue from what the city currently gets right now on the property. So from an economic development standpoint, there certainly is a significant economic impact, both in tax revenue and in the new jobs that will come as a part of it. Again, the exact range, the exact salaries, I can't speak to yet, but there is a wide range of jobs and salaries that can be made. Yes, ma'am.
And I will share this, Miss Denson, which was a little surprising to me. On the Food and Industrial CID site, they did an economic impact study of the impact food and industrial gives to the region. The wages and the numbers are really, I'll call it staggering. And I can't remember the amount. I'm going to go back and look. But there are a lot of things that happen in these, even though it's industrial area, there are all kind of things. You got cold storage, you got movie production, you have so much going on along food and industrial that you probably never imagined.
Well, right, okay.
Yeah, and so one of the things I said I wanted to try to do this summer is to do a tour to give you an idea of what
Mm-hmm.
really is driving the economy of our city. Because I think what people think it is and what it is are two different realities. And so I share that because most people also don't know food and industrial is one of the largest industrial corridors east of the Mississippi River. I've heard the largest. I don't know if that's still true, but what it is it's significant. And we are very fortunate to have that and that tax base in our city.
Well, you can always ask AI, and they talk about warehousing in Atlanta in terms of comparing it to the state of Georgia. Georgia sometimes can be lower, but Atlanta is higher. They talk about anywhere from 35 to 41,000 annually, or they talk about 18 to $20 an hour, depending on the type of business. So it varies. Warehousing is a little bit what they put in them now is a little bit different than, some 20, 30 years ago. So like Miss Councilman Rao said, it can be a pretty lucrative situation.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. All right, y'all. It is 8:09. We've had a great discussion, lively discussion. If there aren't any other questions or concerns, we will end the meeting and we will be back on February 5th.
Debbie, I have a question, comment about the January 13th meeting, City Council with
Go right ahead.
with the storage facility on Riverside and Fulton Industrial, if people could attend that meeting. And also, hopefully, we'll get the new council person, Aaron Johnson, to support the previous mayor's veto for not having the public storage facility.
All righty. And that's on January 13th?
Is that 7 o'clock or is it earlier?
No, that's correct.
7 o'clock, okay. So you
Would
all
you
want to
send us
make
a reminder about it? Would you send us something to remind us? Because
Debbie, Harvey, can y'all send something out?
I included it in my newsletter, my weekender that just went out today.
Okay.
But I'm sure Harvey will do it via Sandtown as well. So
Yeah, some people need lots of extra reminders.
That's good. And I'm glad I get your newsletter, Councilwoman Rao, because you have consistently kept us informed, and I appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
And just to follow up on that, since the vote is going to take place before public comment is allowed, if anyone can write letters to the council members and, to express your opposition to another storage facility, that would be helpful because they'll get that. They could get that as soon as you email it, so that they'll have it in advance of the meeting.
please do,
Yes.
because I've heard that my colleagues have gotten letters from realtors and all kind of other people who are not directly impacted by this decision. So they need to hear from you. I'm only one voice. And so if you have relationships, write them all, but reach out.
Well, we should all
Thank
reach
you.
out.
And the
And
way
write
to
the
reach
letters.
out, the way to reach out is on the city website, on the city clerk's page, in the area of meetings and agendas. So there's a link there where you can submit them, and I believe they need to be submitted before close of business on Monday, but nevertheless, it's all on the city site.
Harvard, do you have that? Because I don't have that. I don't do all this stuff, but I will try to respond to this. Are you able to provide that? Put the information so we can get it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I want to do my part at 82. I want to help to keep things going in the right direction, or if they're not going in the right direction, get them going in the right direction.
All righty. With that, is there anything else from anyone? Well, you guys have a great evening and thanks for joining us.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thank you, Harvey. Thank
Good
you,
evening,
Deborah.
everyone. Okay.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.